You have to get your thinking in a line that mirrors what you desire, and then be it. See, the idea is to think from, not of. Thinking of is saying you don't have it, but thinking from it means I'm here. I am this. Maybe a very little bit of it, but I'm here. And as long as you stay there, it'll build and build and build. And that's the way it works. Hey, these big bridges, they didn't just pop up. They started when the man first started thinking that we need a way to get over to the other side. That's when it was born. But it built and built until actually here it is, a physical object. It's just sticking with the ideas that you find agreement with. And that's the whole thing. Open it and quicken it. And give it light, given your life. But that's what you're doing to everything that you're thinking about. You're giving your life to that, as you think you are. I keep pretty tight feeling about what I'm thinking about.
Good for you.
Yeah, I say that, but, just like everybody else, I get scattered now and then.
You said something, and I kind of clung to it, so I wanted to address it. You said the big bridges didn't just pop up. It started as a way of a thought, and then, of course, the thought turned into an action, and I'm adding to. But basically, then, of course, the little by little, brick upon brick, metal upon metal, the bridge was built. A lot of times, people, when they think about these principles, they think magically they're going to think a thought, and voila, whatever it is that they thought about, it's just going to pop up. But Neville often talked about the bridge of incident, the things that are going to take place in order for that thing to be manifested. Can you address that?
Yes, he did. He did. He actually did the groundwork. In other words, he went digging back in the records. Far, far back. I don't even know how far back. But he did the legwork, so to speak. And all I did was follow his instruction. And that's all anyone needs to do, is just follow his instruction. I sold his books for years, and I'm still got them. But the point is that it's all right there for you to read it. And I would suggest that you do read Neville's books, because it's all there. That's where I got it. That's where I first understood what I was to do to have what it was I wanted. And it's spelled out over and over and over in the book. I didn't invent it. I didn't change anything. I don't have any degrees or anything. It's just I'm sharing with you what was shared with me. It's that simple. Who I am doesn't matter. That you don't know me, I don't know you, that doesn't matter. The message is your message. Use it wisely.
I like what you said, and it was simple, but I think it could possibly be missed. You said you read the books, and you took what the book said, and you applied it to your life. And as a result, you begin to experience the results. And you said it's as simple as that. And I think that we overcomplicate these things, and so now we want to know about Neville's teacher, Abdullah. We want to find out who Abdullah's teacher is. But you know what we're not doing? We're not applying Neville's principles. You understand what I'm saying?
We lose the focus.
We do. So we get caught up in all this other stuff. How long was Neville married? Where did he live? How much did he charge? And we miss.
That's just nosiness. That's all. It's not your business. It's none of your business. He's not there explaining himself to you. He's there giving you your message. If you're listening to that, then he's done his job. But you ask about it, that's like the green screen. Well, first couple movies I made here, you could see the background, my office. Well, you can't believe how many questions I got about what's in my office. No kidding. Well, where did that come from?
So was that the reason that the green screen manifested itself?
That's how the green screen manifested itself. Yes, right. But once that went up, that was the end of it. You know, of the questions about what's in the office and that.
So you missed the message because you're focused on the office, as it were. It's like the parable of the forest for the trees, for example.
That's it. That's exactly it. And I put that up, and then I didn't get any more questions. So that meant that they were actually paying attention to what I was saying.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I didn't invent any of this. I haven't made anything up. I haven't had to make up anything. It's all right there with you, as it was with me. It's just recognizing it. That's all there is to it. You're recognizing what's already here, what you already have. The saying that you say. You're told to say your say. Well, say what? Choose this day. Just choose better. That's all. That's all any of us have to do is just choose better. We're not telling you to, that you have to have glorious things and that, but you come through it in steps, just like watching a little child. First they crawl, then they walk, then they run, and then you can't keep track of them. But it's the same thing. I mean, isn't it? I mean, haven't you noticed that that's the same thing?
It's the exact same thing, and that's what we've been trying to get across since we began doing these messages. So, yeah, absolutely.
But it's right there with you. It's already with you. See, you're not having to grovel to find anything. It's as you think, you are, you do, you have, you be. And I repeat that because that's what really everybody's looking for, is how to cause desired change. And Neville put it out very, very plainly that it's with you. All you have to do is recognize it. And that's what you do when you're doing the contemplation, the meditation. You're going over what you have heard, and you're analyzing it. Just don't analyze it to dust, but actually think about it. Because that's all you have to work with is thinking. What else have you got to work with but thinking? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. There it is. So if you approve of what you're thinking, you'll be approving of your future. If you're not approving of what you're thinking, well, then you ain't going to be approved of your future. It's really that simple.
You were saying something, and I wanted to kind of piggyback off what you said earlier. You said, listen, I didn't come up with anything new. Don't have any degrees. I took basically what I heard, and I began to apply it. And it's funny, as we talk about these principles, occasionally I'll get questions. And I love the questions because, of course, it basically pulls out of me that which has been given to me. And I like hearing it again, for example. But, the funny thing is with my answers, it's not like I come up with a new answer. I give them what Neville says, what Lindell says, but ultimately I give them what Scripture says. And only thing I do is bring Scripture up to date to that practical application to what it is the person is asking about. And I say, and of course I put it in my own words, but basically I'm just giving you Bible. And a lot of times I'll put Bible verses in my communications and so forth, but like Lindell stated, I'm not given anything new. Everything that I have has been given to me to give to you who may be listening. So would you agree with that?
Yes, that's it. And Neville said it quite clearly. It's yours. Use it. Don't abuse it, but use it. And that's all there is to it. As you think you are. It's that simple. Do the silent thing, because that's where the magic is. Sitting in a silence, feeling after better than the best you've yet known, and also analyzing everything that you've heard. What does this mean, he said? What does that mean that he said? And just think about these things, because, think from them. But that's what you're doing. you're thinking about it or you're thinking from it. If you're thinking about it, that means you don't have it. If you're thinking from it, that means you're engaged. To be married to the idea.
You stated about don't think about it, think from it. The other thing that you mentioned just a few seconds ago was about the silence. And you've actually talked about the silence, multiple times, even in this message. And I don't think that people get the reason why you're standing up on the table screaming the silence is because it's that important.
Yes, actually it is. It really is, because until you shut up, you're not going to get any information. Now, that may be a crude way of saying it, but I think you got the idea. Just be still. Be still and know that I am God. So you have to be still. If you can't accomplish the still, well, then you miss it. But I'm telling you that you can. Yes, it does take perseverance. Yes, it does take reiteration to understand the simplest questions. Because, that's the thing. The questions are really very, very simple. It's we who are complicated. It tells you that as you think you are. Well, that tells you the whole story.
It really does.
Yeah, as you think you are. Once it's been installed, it'll pop up more often. And the more you get to the reiteration of it, the more it'll pop up. And that's what you want. You want it to keep popping up in your life so you recognize it. And that's what it is. We have to recognize it. I am with you always, but you never take the time to recognize me. He says, you behold me not, but yet I suffer with you. He's telling you that he's suffering with you because he gave you to choose the route that you're both taking. That's all you need to start with. And that's what everybody wants to know is, what do you start with? How do you start? How do you get started? Well, contemplation, meditation on what you have heard. But the thing of it is, you have to be honest with yourself. You see, it's really easy to make up excuses, justifications, reasons for the things you do. But if you analyze them, boy, that spider just went crazy.
It heard something that it found agreement with.
Boy, you went zing, 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 zing around and around that thing.
It got excited.
Boy, you sure did. Yeah, well, if people could just get excited about what they're thinking about, they'll be happy.
You said it earlier, and I want to bring this up because this actually was a question that came recently. Somebody was dealing with scattered thoughts, and I told them that they had to begin practicing, even if it's just 5 minutes a day as a starting point, going into the silence.
Now, everybody's scattered. That's what we're here to do. We're here to get it back in line. You see, you can be thinking of something that you really, really want to focus on, and the slightest little thing will off to the side. The point is that you have to get back. You have to practice learning to get back to what you were thinking about before you got distracted. You see, now, the only difference between me and anybody else is I just get back quicker. I'll right away. I'll go, whoa, what is this? Where are we going with this? And then if it's not leading you where you want to go, well, you drop it, and then you get back to what you were thinking about before you got distracted. But it's the getting back to it. It's always there, but you keep leaving it and not paying attention to it, not recognizing it. But it's always right with you. All the help you need is nearer than hands and feet. You think that's close enough?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you said something. You said, I just get back quicker. How did that happen? Because, see, that didn't happen overnight. And they need to know that it didn't happen overnight. How is it that you happen to get back quicker?
Well, actually, it was because I started missing what I was talking about. You see, I was focused on it pretty seriously, even though I got distracted, but it was still had a draw on me. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. And so it was easier to pick it up. And the more you do pick it up, the easier it'll be. So, see, all of this gets easier because what it's looking for is, are you paying attention?